5 here on Kiwi Radio Wammo Breakfast. Time to talk to the voice of the creative economy, Vincent Heeringa from Idealog magazine, idealog.co.nz, joining us this morning. Morning, Vincent.
Good morning, Wammo. How are you?
Very well, thanks. Today talking about authentic, being authentic.
Authentic, yeah.
Authentic is what we're talking about, yeah.
Well, one of the big themes that's happening in marketing at the moment is a shift away from shouty type advertising and using advertising as a way of telling everyone that you're great. You know, this is Harvey Norman aside, and we still have your fair number of shouty ads. But over the past few years, particularly accelerated by the internet and then given a major boost with social media, is the need for brands to live what they say. So it's almost like show, don't tell.
Right.
And you think about a trend like that, and it creates a context for this current discussion about the tragic situation regarding the deaths of 9 tourists, including a pilot, in the skydiving accident in 2008. And that report has subsequently uncovered a whole industry that's effectively unregulated and driven by kind of entrepreneurial zeal. And I'm sure that by comparison with, I don't know, choose another country, Vanuatu or parts of Africa, we may have a much higher safety rating. But, you know, we sell ourselves internationally as a pure country, as a serious, yes, an adventure capital, but also a grown-up OECD country that would provide safe adventure. And we don't, you know, we're in real danger with that pure brand to be inauthentic in an age when authenticity is absolutely key to your message.
Interesting, though, that, you know, as New Zealanders, we feel pretty safe with these activities around the country. And in fact, sometimes we may feel that we're overprotected in the great outdoors with, you know, sort of safety devices and things that we have to have. Thinking about boating, of course, with life jackets and that sort of thing. But it's not the case that it's not regulated as much as it should be, is what you're saying.
Well, I think that the facts speak for themselves. So take boating. That you know, if there ever was a case for a regulation, there's one where how many people die every year on pleasure boats because they weren't wearing life jackets? It's such a simple act, and anyone that owns a boat understands how important life jackets are, particularly for kids. But you know, as soon as you have a few beers, you basically turn into a child. So,
of course, also the fact that you don't need a license to drive one of those boats either.
No, that's true, and there is a small rebellious part of us all that bristles at the idea of being licensed and regulated and so forth. And maybe there's a case to say, well, in your own time you can be as stupid as you like. But when you run a business, you really do accept responsibility for people's safety, and that's in the workplace, but particularly if you're taking money off tourists to give them a good time, you've got to be able to promise that not just your gear, but the industry as a whole is delivering a safe outcome. And it damages us all. It damages us as a country, and you know, very tragic consequences for the families that have lost their people. And you know, just for example, there was a statistic recently in the latest marketing magazine that polled people on, I didn't so much poll as did a kind of a measured behaviour to see what their outcomes were in terms of did advertising and marketing influence behaviour, or did customer service and customer experience drive behaviour? And it's kind of no surprise that customer service and customer experience were 80% more important, or at least on a scale of sort of 1 to 100, 80% of the influence came from the experience. And you think about that as just as a marketing discipline. You know, what kind of experience are we going to give people if they come away feeling unsafe, have their necks broken, have their children killed, and the impact on social media, on word of mouth, on the media in general, much more important than an advertising campaign. As much as I love advertising, Wammo,
Yeah.
I've built a whole business around it.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? That's, if we are going to be a serious player in the tourism market, we have to lift our game. And unfortunately, that does mean regulation, and it means a serious attempt by the tourism industry is one of the most disorganised, fractured industries in New Zealand, and that's incredible given the scale of it. There's very few large businesses in the tourism sector. It's largely an industry of hobbyists.
But that brings with it innovation in that sector, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, it does. It does, and these things are held in tension. You're right, mate. Innovation is exciting and it's dynamic, but it's also dangerous. And I suppose somewhere in that tension there has to be a rule that says, well, innovate on yourselves and deliver a safe product to your customers.
Excellent. Well, that was an interesting discussion there about being authentic with Vincent Heeringa. Thanks very much.
Wammo.
Idealogue.co.nz is where you'll head as well for more.